everybody, welcome to M Class Podcast. Best podcast on the internet ever.
Fucking true as fuck, dude.
I'm Jeff.
I am Josh.
And this is a podcast all about Star Trek, all of it. And you may have noticed that we finished all the movies. You may be wondering where we're going to go with this now.
I mean, I don't know.
We discussed this before.
I'm playing dumb like the audience. I don't know.
Oh, shit. You're doing
I'm being them.
You're being like a fun host. Okay.
I'm being a fun host, man. Yeah.
Okay, well, you may be wondering, like we were wondering, what the hell we were going to do. Were we going to go through all of every series in order?
Oh, God.
Was that going to take the rest of our lives? And the answer is no. We're not doing that.
We're not doing that.
We are going to be picking a selection of episodes that all have a theme. And they're going to be called the M-Class Collections.
Oh!
Or the M Collections, if you feel like being frisky.
What about the Molections? No, yours was better.
It took it one step too far.
Always, that's the story of my life, man.
Our first collection is going to be pilot episodes.
Episodes about pilots.
Episodes that were, like... Actually, why don't you explain what a pilot is to our audience, Josh?
A pilot is a fully shot concept for a television show. It's usually 1 or 2 episodes, depending, of a show, and it's to demonstrate what the show is going to be, the themes of the show, and what the show can do.
And that's given to, like, that's like screened for, like, executives so that it can get greenlit on a channel.
Yes. Usually, like, pilots, I don't know, in my limited television experience, of which I have some, pilots are... Like, for, like, Star Trek, right? Like, for the episodes we watched today, they're pretty much greenlit, and then they shoot the pilot.
That wasn't true of The Cage.
No, yes. That was, like, a pure concept pilot, right?
Yes.
But the second one was...
Yeah, the second one pretty much already had the go-ahead at that point.
Yeah, a lot of TV shows... Yeah, a lot of TV shows you see... from this time period, you never saw... If there was, like, a pilot like The Cage, like, no one ever saw them.
No. The only reason The Cage ever got play is because they played it in 1988 as a special.
Yeah,
as, like, a retrospective.
I got so much to say about it. I'm not even kidding.
But the pilot episodes we're going to be getting into on episode 1 of our... M-Class Collection series on pilots, which is actually episode 14 of M-Class Podcast. Try not to get confused.
Final Fantasy 3 shit.
Video game reference.
That'll bring in the viewers.
Finally. The episodes we're going to be talking about today are The Cage and Where No Man Has Gone Before from Star Trek the original series.
Possibly the greatest title for a Star Trek episode ever.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's
not the greatest Star Trek episode ever.
Definitely. But a couple of notes about The Cage before we get into it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about The Cage first.
It is the original pilot episode of the series. It was completed in 1965, but like we talked about before, not broadcast until 1988.
Yeah, it says it was on VHS in 1986. They put it on, like, VHS tape.
Yeah, they were trying to sell, like, tape collections at that point.
Time Life's Star Trek pilots that you've never seen.
All of them.
All one.
It was directed by Robert Butler, who is the king of pilot episodes.
Is that true?
That is true. He directed the pilot episodes of Batman, the Adam West Batman.
Oh, wow.
Hogan's Heroes.
Oh, my God.
Hill Street Blues.
Whoa!
Remington Steele.
This dude's like the fucking Kenny Loggins of pilots.
Yeah. Moonlighting.
Moonlighting.
Lois and Clark: The New Adventures of Superman, amongst others.
I think we all know the best one out of that list.
Lois and Clark. I actually liked that series. When I was a kid, too, is the weird part. It wasn't aimed at me whatsoever.
Yeah, it was like Ally McBeal with Superman in it.
I don't know if that's completely true.
It was like Ally McBeal meets Superman, and then...
She was in it, so...
She was in it.
Ally McBeal was in it, not the actress.
The character.
She was played by a different actress.
Yeah, weird.
It was written by Gene Roddenberry, who you might know from Star Trek.
Oh, that guy.
It was him. Oh, and it starred Jeffrey Hunter as Captain Christopher Pike. I love that his name was Jeffrey.
It spells it not like you do, though.
No, he spells it right, like a smart person.
Yeah, the traditional way.
He's more famous for The Searchers.
Mm-hmm.
And he also played Jesus in King of Kings.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I mean, oh my Jesus.
Oh my Jesus Christ. And crackers. But,
crackers.
Why don't we get into talking about this episode?
Let's go.
It's very slow moving and methodical, but it has a really cool premise to it.
Yeah. TV in this time period was like televised theater, right?
Yeah, and that's a really good way to look at TOS in general, is that it's televised theater.
Yes. Yeah, so it's very slow. I don't know. I don't want to like blow my load on this one already, but like I loved this episode.
This episode is like the reason why it was turned down by the executives at CBS is because it was too cerebral. They didn't think audiences would enjoy it because it was so like up its own ass, I guess, was the way they looked at it.
Yeah, this is like Twilight Zone. This is like a fucking Star Trek Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, it really is. To get a little bit into the plot line of this episode, Captain Pike is the captain of the ship. We've never met him before, but this is episode 36 of the Captain Pike Star Trek series. We're dropped right in the middle of it, which is how the TOS does it. Like as well. Every episode that follows from the first episode of TOS, the pilot after this, it doesn't matter. It just drops you into it, and you're going.
It's great. It's great.
It's great not to have all the introductions in the same way.
It's refreshing because we live in such a here's this character's backstory again world, you know?
Yeah, there's no origin story for Captain Kirk.
Yeah.
Or even Captain Pike. But Captain Pike is tired.
He's kind of a butthole.
He is kind of a butthole, but he's the kind of captain who's had to make a lot of hard decisions and that he's lost good people.
Yeah,
and he's tired of it.
He's like an everyman.
He is. He's like a real sad guy, too. He doesn't smile in the whole episode.
He's so mad and just upset the whole time.
He really is. But he calls his best friend, Dr. Boyce, to his quarters.
Boyce.
His name is Boyce.
I'm looking at Philip Boyce.
Yeah, and Dr. Boyce makes him a martini, and they talk about how Pike doesn't want to be a captain anymore.
Yeah, I love the martini bit, because it's like, what's that doctor doing, making some space medicine? And he's like, a warm martini, Captain Pike? And it's like, oh, it's 1965, I forgot.
So they have to drink martinis.
Everyone's drunk all the time.
Of course. He's drinking on duty, too, is the best part.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely.
So he's a little tiny bit buzzed for the whole rest of the episode. But, actually, before he could drink, Spock is like, or proto-Spock, I guess. Not the real Spock.
Yeah, whatever this guy
Although this is canon. This is Star Trek canon, so it's really Spock. He just really...
So
he really doesn't keep a lid on his emotions very well in this episode.
Yeah, he's like such a... I don't know. His like eyebrows are too curved up too.
Oh yeah, he looks like Satan.
Yeah, that's what people thought, right? They thought that he was like a devil man.
And well, Leonard Nimoy talks a little bit about working with Jeffrey Hunter and saying that he much more enjoyed working with William Shatner Because William Shatner was so full of life and animated, it made it very easy to like draw back and play a character that was really closed off and unemotional.
Yeah.
But Jeffrey Hunter was much more slow and cerebral and didn't move a whole lot, so he felt...
Because he was drunk on martinis.
Of course. Because he felt like he had to.
Right, yeah, no, I get that. Like, both of you can't be, like, slow, dour guys, right?
No,
like, somebody needs to be different, yeah.
So Spock's a jokester. He's always smiling.
You know, like Spock does.
It's Spock.
Well, Spock from, like, the JJ verse does.
He's never smiling. He's always fucking crying and screaming.
Crying is just upside down smiling, Jeff.
Here's your John Larroquette fun fact of the week.
Oh, how interesting.
You don't know if it's interesting yet, John Larroquette. The first words ever uttered in Star Trek history are "check the circuit." Mr. Spock says it.
Check the circuit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's future.
Just the one circuit?
Yeah, check the one. The ship has one circuit.
There's like a lot of computers on that ship.
It has one circuit, though. It's like really poorly... Like, they needed to get an electrician in there to take a look at that.
Yeah, they gotta rewire that bitch.
Very poorly wired. But they find, like, there's some real 1960s shit in this episode,
oh my god,
right?
This episode is pure 1960s.
It really is. Like, Pike is, he's like, I just can't get used to having a woman on the bridge.
Yeah, and she's like this, like, cutesy redheaded, like, yeoman, and like, it's like, I can feel like the fucking like pre-women's libness, like.
It's just like, it's the stank. It's not a mist. It's a stank.
It's like yep.
Martinis and casual sexism.
I like when he's like, I can't get used to having a woman on the bridge, and then Majel Barrett, whose
character doesn't have a name. Her name is Number One,
which I thought was great. Like, this, since, like, I'm looking at this, like, from a different perspective for me, because, like, I have never really watched TOS all that much.
Yeah.
So, like, it fits, like, I know, like, later they would use Number One for Riker, right? But, like, it sort of fits in, like, this weird kind of way. Like, it makes sense. But she gets, like, she gets real upset because she's a woman on the bridge. And Pike is like, well, not like you. You know what I mean.
It's different,
like,
of course.
Dude.
And she's like, well, fuck you too, then, you piece of shit.
What an idiot.
But they get, like, some sort of a signal through space. They think that something's going to blow up the ship first. Because when you're in space, you think everything's going to blow up the ship first, right?
Sure.
That's just the natural way to start out your day.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry. But it turns out to be a radio signal that's like a blue beam through space.
It's a fucking strong-ass goddamn radio signal, man.
No doubt. But
it's like X-rays.
The SS Columbia has crashed years ago. And they're like, and Pike's like, whatever. He's like, we don't know if anybody survived, so fuck it.
Yeah, I'm not going to look at that.
Which is really strange for Star Trek, that the character isn't like, let's find out!
Yeah, it's not right.
He's like, well, we have an actual mission to go on, so let's do that first. And then, like a real captain would be in a ship.
Right, like an actual, like, military vessel would be like, we have shit to do, we can't do this.
They get a second, when they get closer to the planet, they get a second distress signal that's like, hey, we're alive.
Yeah.
So they go down to the planet and they wear really, really weird jackets.
Yeah, the jacket, I think, is made out of, like, 100% asbestos, it looked like. It looked like maybe they could be put on fire and not feel it for a couple of seconds.
It really looked like the type of jacket that the stunt guy that gets set on fire wears.
Yeah, like a fire suit from, like, a race car or something.
And it probably was.
It probably was, absolutely.
They just, like, spray painted it with whatever paint does that, like, sparkly shit on camera.
1960s cancer paint?
Yeah. Everyone who ever had it sprayed on them had cancer and died.
It's like that scene in Watchmen when they're like, everyone who worked here got cancer.
Aww. That's probably true. But they go down to the planet and they meet like a bunch of disheveled old fucking honkies, right?
Yeah, it's Fallout down there.
Yeah, and nobody raises an eyebrow at the fact that there's just a girl there.
A super hot 1960s blonde surfer girl.
Yeah, she just walks up and everybody's like, "Oh, who's this?" And they're like, "Oh, she was born when the ship." My favorite line.
Except Pike, who stares at her and a saxophone plays like, wah, 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 like he's gonna fuck her right then. Yeah.
But fucking, like, my favorite line in the whole episode is like, "This is Vina. Her parents are both dead."
Good to know.
That would have been great if she looked her over at him and went, Dude,
fuck, man. Just because it happened a long time ago doesn't mean it doesn't hurt anymore.
Jesus, I'm right here. But, like, while he's meeting her, right, this is a failure in editing in this episode. There's
a lot of that in this episode.
Like, the only one that stood out to me is, like, ungodly bad. Is, like, she's like, "Oh, we should tell him about our secret." Yeah. And then it pans out, and it pans away from a screen, and there's this giant-headed alien staring at the screen silently while the rest of the scene plays.
I thought that was really neat. I kind of liked... Yeah, it reminded me... Again, like, I keep telling you to watch The Prisoner, but it reminded me of The Prisoner. Like, they do a lot of weird shit like that. Because, like, think about it like this. Like, in 1965, 6, whatever, like, they didn't have, like, actual computer screens, right?
Yeah.
So, like, they didn't know how to, like, transition from, like, the idea of someone watching a screen. It's so fucking fascinating to me. Like,
it was really cool that they did that. Like, the effect isn't what gets me. It's the timing of that happening.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird.
There's no foreshadowing of it or anything. It's literally just, there's aliens watching
It
them.
pulls you out of the show.
Yeah.
Like, whoa.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and they're just looking down at you, like, ominously, like, because there's, like, that POV, like, of them staring at the camera, right? Like,
yeah. Dude, there are a couple... I'm gonna be jumping ahead here a little bit, but there's, like, a few legitimately, like, not scary, but, like, unsettling parts of this episode.
It's very, like you said, unsettling. It's weird.
It's the one that I'm specifically thinking of is when Pike has his first, like, punishment when the Telosians use their...
Oh, yeah! And he's in that, like
he's
fire
in
pool?
fucking hell.
Yeah. Dude, he's like in that mud or whatever, and it's like, oh my god, it looks like his like skin is falling off, sorta.
And he's just screaming at the top of his lungs and fires everywhere, and I was like, God damn, did David Lynch direct this?
It's goddamn Mulholland Drive over here, dude.
Is this fucking a Jodorowsky film?
Dude, yeah, man. Yeah.
It was fucking crazy, but anyway. Like, Vena's like, I'll show you what our secret is. I'll show you my secret, if you know what I'm talking about.
I'm just gonna call her Vagina from now on.
We already did that bit for V'ger.
We did? Hey, we're on episode 14. I don't know.
Vagina.
It's new to me.
It's new to me. But the fucking the Telosians, like, come out of a hole in the wall. Like, Vina disappears and the Telosians come out and, like, just knock him out with knockout rays.
Yeah, Star Trek rays.
And they drag him through a door, which is honestly, like, a little funny that they're dragging him through the door.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking they have all these, like, super powerful abilities, right? And they have all this, like, crazy technology. And they still have to drag a guy through a door.
Yeah, they can't, like, telepathically move him or whatever, or beam him or whatever. They're like, somebody's got to pick up this guy.
Like, fucking, I haven't lifted anything in 3,000 years.
Have you seen my brain? It's huge. My muscles, though, are atrophied.
But they just fucking throw him in a cage or whatever. But everybody shoots lasers forever at the door.
Oh, yeah. The door laser.
Like, they shoot lasers forever at the door.
They paid for that animation. They're going to use it, Jeff.
Fuck yeah. And the funniest part about it is they shoot all these lasers, and then one guy, you think it's over because everybody stops, and they're like, oh. And then one guy turns the knob on his laser and starts firing.
Yeah, he's like, we're not done. I'm an expert at shooting lasers at doors, and this door ain't done yet.
Look, I only have one skill. It's shooting doors with lasers.
Finally, the mission I was born for.
Fuck, he trained his whole life and he failed.
It's fucking... That's space for you.
That's space.
That's Star Trek for you.
Shirt it. That's space for you.
That's space for you.
It'll just a black shirt with white letters on it. That's space for you.
That's fucking genius. Holy shit, that's brilliant.
It's gonna happen. But, yeah. They call the ship and they're like, it looks like Captain Pike got caught in some sort of a trap. It's almost like a cage.
The cage.
Oh, also the thing that made me laugh during that whole laser scene is the music is going fucking nuts the whole time. It's like boom, 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 boom,
it's
boom,
like bombastic as fuck, dude. Yeah.
And it goes on forever.
Dude. They had to fill that whole 55 minutes, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. But Pike wakes up in the cell or whatever, and he's like, the Telosians talk to him, like, psychically.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck? What is this? And they're like, the puny human doesn't understand our great brains.
Yeah, and they start, like, mocking him and shit, and they're like, watch as he tries to show his physical prowess. It's like, these guys fucking dicks,
He
dude.
slaps his dick on the screen.
I don't remember that, but
that was
I'll
in
go
it.
back and watch it.
You need to pay more attention. The thing is, like, they remind me of so many people I've known in my life that are just like, fucking his puny brain. Blah, blah, blah. Not to me, because I was one of the big brain guys, but...
Yes, absolutely. I was the one slapping my dick on Windows. This will open up the force field. Slap, slap, slap.
He makes a good point, though. He's like, if you were in this room, wouldn't you test if the walls would come down?
Yeah. Makes sense, right?
They're like, no, our big brains would know, dipshit.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you use your giant brain? Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
But they start giving him all these, like, fantasies or whatever, right?
They can
all
go into his
Vina.
dreams. Yeah.
Like, they put him on Rigel 7 or whatever, which is where the last mission happened, where I guess he fought a barbarian from Conan.
Yeah.
And Conan the Barbarian killed, like, 6 of his dudes.
At this point, I was like, wait, what? Did he dream this before? I was a little bit like...
it, like, really happened, because he's talking about it to Dr. Boyce.
That's right.
And he's like, yeah, I lost 6 of my best men or whatever. And then you see what actually happened, and I'm like, you lost 6 of your best men to Conan with vampire teeth? Like, what weapons were you using?
They didn't have that guy who shoots doors.
Damn it, I knew we should have brought him. But, like, the Conan guy dies to just having, like, shit stabbed into him. I feel like if you shoot him with a laser, it would just kill him.
Yeah, you would think. I mean, he just does the old, like, prop a spear up and make the guy jump into it move, right?
Which is the top-notch move for
it's
heroes in movies.
Defense. Yeah, defense number 1.
Just hold up a blade and the dude will definitely jump into it.
Jump into it like a swimming pool.
Dude, I fucking love blades!
I love them so much!
But anyway, he kills the dude, right? And then he starts talking to Vina, and they have this... I like his back and forth with Vina part of the episode, I like it.
Yeah.
Until he starts falling in love with her for no reason.
Yeah.
Then it's a little much. But, like, when he's like, well, what the fuck? Tell me what's happening. And she's like, no, I can't. It's because they're controlling me. And he's like, well, I'll go in a fantasy with you if you tell me.
Right.
And she's like, for real? Okay, then. But we see they do like a really fun set for Pike's childhood home with like a cool matte painting of a future city.
Oh yeah. No, the map paintings in these episodes are amazing.
They really are. That's something that I feel has been lost in movie making and TV making and stuff, is like matte paintings look good.
Yes, they do. Paintings look great. Computer paintings do not look that great.
No, I mean,
it's easier
it fools
though, right?
the
Like,
eye.
I get it.
Like the matte painting fools the eye perfectly.
Yeah.
But none of that anymore.
No, we don't get that anymore.
This one does not fool the eye perfectly. You can super tell it's a matte painting, but it's still really cool.
Yeah.
I like the horses that are just like, what the fuck's all this plastic stuff? Where am I?
Where am I? What is this, a Star Trek episode? I'm supposed to be on the Mr. Ed set soon.
I'm Mr. Ed's saucy mayor in the next episode. But they find out that the Telosians want to breed them. And neither of them seems all that weirded out by this. They're just like, well, you know, of course they would, right?
Right. they're weird aliens.
Yeah, they're like super weird about it too. They're like, we'll have you breed.
They want to watch, that's what it is.
And they want to experience their pleasures or whatever, right?
Right. Like they feed off of it or whatever.
Gross.
I feed off of other people's pleasures too. It's called watching porn.
Oh, joke of the episode.
Josh watches porn?
Oh my god. Josh is a deviant? I didn't know that about Josh.
A deviant.
I thought he was a good boy. I thought he was a good church-going boy, but damn.
I must alert the internet!
Pike tries to fight back against his captors, but they put him into a literal version of hell where he's burning alive in a pit.
Yep, he's burning alive in a mud pit.
Which is unsettling. It's very unsettling.
It's super weird.
And so he drinks the liquid they want him to drink, and it's not spiked, strangely enough.
Yeah.
It seems like that is where they were going with it. I've seen this episode dozens of times, and I always think that. Like, that's weird that they didn't go with him just getting spiked by it.
Yeah.
Since that's how TV worked at that time. If someone offered you a drink, it was spiked.
Right.
Anyway, I'm getting completely off topic. But at some point, like, Pike realizes that the Telosians can't read his mind when he's thinking about murdering the shit out of them.
Yeah.
So he just tries to keep doing that endlessly.
Which is nuts.
Yeah, he's very, very violent and angry.
He's super pissed. Like, he's not Captain Kirk.
No, he is Captain Kill Your Dumb Ass.
Yeah, he's so mad about being in the cage.
TM. But there's an illusion that follows, right? I think the picnic happens after this.
Picnic, yeah.
But then there's like an illusion right afterwards where he's like a slave trader.
Oh yeah, he's like a Orion. He's like in a castle or something.
He's in like Arabian Nights, but there's a green lady dancing.
There's an Orion, and it's Vagina as an Orion.
Yeah, and like two of the skeeviest, creepiest dudes on Earth are
One's
with
a Starfleet guy.
Yeah, which is weird.
Another one's just a bastard guy from Bastard Times.
Apparently Gene Roddenberry had not thought this whole Starfleet thing through at this point, because Starfleet officers just talk about slave trade like it's normal and cool.
Yeah.
And everybody's into it.
I'm not sure, like, when he had the idea to make it good.
I don't know.
But didn't happen yet.
Like, that scene is another unsettling one because the music is like going nuts and it keeps cutting back to his like Pike's face and he's like legitimately freaking the fuck out.
He's having a freak out or like a boner attack about this fucking girl,
he's
right?
Like, fuck, my penis is getting hard. What's happening?
Yeah, like he can't like deal with it or whatever, and like I think, but that like that part of with her dancing like that is like super fucking famous, right? Like that's like an image, like I think they use it in the credits of the first season.
They do.
The end credits, so everyone knows about it from that.
It's
weird,
skeevy as fuck too.
Yeah, it's weird.
The whole scene is, and the two guys like spell out what's happening to the audience, which I felt was a little unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, the one guy's like, you can have this or whatever you want. This is a fantasy that you can live in. Wouldn't you sell your soul for that?
We got it. It's like, we fucking got it, dude.
But, okay, the Telosians are getting tired of waiting for Pike to
want to see some fucking go on.
They're pissed off that he won't stick it in, right?
When will this guy put his penis in her?
Just, for God's sakes, breed and make us a slave race. Jesus.
Will you just jizz inside of her Virginia already?
I don't know how humans work, alright? Just do it.
You got so many V words, so complicated.
So they just like beam down number one and redheaded yeoman.
Yeah, they just steal them.
They just beam them down and they're like, all right, just fuck one of them, all right? Just
pick
just
one and
it.
stick a dick inside of one.
And he's like, nah, I'm still not doing that. I still want to kill you real hard.
Well, my favorite part is like the Telosian guy is like to number one, he's like, well, this one is very intelligent and will create very intelligent children, but she's ugly as dicks. and then he talks to the other, like the redheaded yeoman, and he's like, this one's hot as shit, and he'll probably pick her to fuck.
Like the thing he says about the redheaded one is that she has unusually strong female urges.
Yeah, which is like,
and I was
whoa.
like, whoa, dude, you can't just say that out loud.
In 1965, that meant like any woman who has any sexual feelings whatsoever, right?
That's true. Like
women
she wants
supposed to feel
fucks.
Yeah.
Real bad.
Yeah.
But they're like, the ship, they want to leave. The ship wants to leave. Here's like something that I was curious about. I didn't really understand. The ship wants to leave. Spock's like, let's get the fuck out of here. They're going to use their psychic powers and destroy our ship.
Yeah.
And the ship shuts down. Why? Why did they keep the ship there?
Yeah, I don't know.
I guess because if they left, then the episode would be over.
Yeah, then it would be like, oh, okay, well, until next week.
Just have them
fight 2 Conans.
You know, technically, everyone that was left down on the planet isn't in any more episodes, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah, it wouldn't have. That would have been a really interesting, neat way to like.
Yeah, they didn't know that.
Move on
though.
with Star Trek. No, they didn't know that yet. Yeah.
So they can't leave. A better thing to do would have been to have them not try and leave.
I guess they shut the ship down so they couldn't transport them back, probably, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
That probably, and they were, I don't know, to explain it to the dum-dums at home, they, instead of being like, the transporters don't work, they were just like, the whole ship fucking doesn't do anything.
Because it's scarier that they have that level of power.
And they could have just left and like found help or something too, you know, I don't know.
Pike's like, hey, I'm gonna drop these 2 phasers on the ground, right? Because I figured out something. I figured something out.
I got an idea.
If they open this little door, I could choke them to death. And so he does. He starts choking the shit out of him, and the Telosian transforms into a monster, and he's like, I can choke this monster too, dude.
Yeah.
I can choke whatever you are, it doesn't matter.
Humans are the monsters.
Humans are real good at choking. You don't know that.
We evolved on choking things.
And he just keeps like threatening horrible violence to this Telosian.
Yeah.
And he figures out that the Telosians are just using their illusion making abilities to make it seem like the phasers aren't working. And he points it at the Telosian's head, and he says, like, you want to check and see if I'm right?
He's goddamn Dirty Harry as captain.
He really is. Pike is what everyone thinks Kirk is.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Interestingly enough, people call Pike more cerebral than Kirk, which is the exact opposite.
That's so weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
People are so fucking stupid. I fucking hate them.
Hate humanity here on M-Class Podcast. But he just, like, at gunpoint leads the Telosian up to the thing, and the Telosian's like, well, I wanted you to come up here and fuck anyway, so...
God damn, these guys got guns pointed at their heads, and they're still wanting to watch fucking go on.
Yeah, it'd be even better if you pointed the gun at me while you were doing it.
Yeah, point the gun at my dick while you fuck her. That's what I like. That's what he's saying.
They said that in this 1960s episode.
Can you keep choking me while you fuck her?
Oh my god.
And also point the gun at my head?
But they're like, alright, Pike's like, alright, send the ladies back, and you can keep me. Yeah. And the Telosian's like, nah.
Yeah.
And so number one just immediately turns the self-destruct on the gun.
Yeah, she's like, I'm gonna blow us up.
She doesn't even say anything. She just turns the gun over and goes, brrr, turns it off. And the guy's like, wait a minute, did you just turn self-destruct on?
Yeah.
And they're like, well, yeah, you're gonna make us into a slave race. What the fuck did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah, we're gonna kill ourselves.
And he's like, fucking free will? What is that? What?
Yep.
Freedom.
And then they somehow scan the computer with their brain or something, the ship computer.
And they find out that humans don't like being kept in captivity. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew that?
I think this is more 1960s shit.
Yeah.
Where, at this point in time, we thought, man, animals love being in zoos.
Yeah, I think it's also more like the Big Brother thing is still fresh. Still that book was only written 20 years ago or whatever. So, well, it's super fresh now.
Yeah. But. The Telosians are like, well, you've doomed our fucking race now, so I guess we'll let you go, assholes.
Yeah.
And here's a problem I have with this episode right here. Vina goes, no, I'm gonna stay on the planet, and they're like, why?
It's super weird.
And she's like, oh, because I'm a hideous monster. And
because they were only making her look good, right?
And if I was Pike, I'd be like, all right, so
you could still. We have doctors and shit, right? You could come up and we can help you.
Yeah, but no.
Yep.
She's like, no, I care more about how I look, so I'm gonna stay on the planet. Also, they've tortured me my entire life, but whatever. I'd rather stay here because I look nice.
It's very what's the moral?
I don't know. Most Star Trek episodes have a pretty clear moral, but this one doesn't.
This one's cloudy as fuck, dude.
And if I was an executive and watched this episode, I'd probably be like, I don't know about all this.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have turned it down, though. I mean, as far as shit that was on television at the time, this is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, I mean, the concept and execution of this episode are really good. It's not Star Trek in the way we know it in almost any way, but it is really, really good sci-fi.
I thought of it I just pretended it wasn't the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And it could have just been another show about another ship in the TOS world.
I would have loved to have seen that as an ongoing thing.
Yeah. So I kind of just pretended that's what it was. I didn't knowing in the back of my mind it's the Enterprise and they kind of work that in later.
It's the Enterprise 10 years before Kirk took command.
Right.
Which is fine, but I mean it doesn't really make sense that Spock acted this way, but whatever. We'll just not worry about that.
Yeah, that's
but you know what we should worry about.
Oh yeah, I do.
Is taking a break.
Yeah!
We'll be right back after these messages.
Cocoa Pebbles. Mr. Spock! My search for something super chocolatey has led me here. Must be my delicious Cocoa Pebbles. Fascinating. They're yours if you take me on the Enterprise. Mega chocolatey taste. Fill me up. Dino. Barney, my pebbles. Warp speed ahead. Those Cocoa Pebbles cereal part of this nutritious breakfast.
You know, the thing about the cage that really gets me the most is they said it was too cerebral.
Yeah.
And that's why they didn't want to put it through as a series.
Right.
But, the Twilight Zone had been on TV for a long time at this point, right?
Yeah, it was already done, I think.
I think so, too. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. I'm not positive on that. I'm going to look that up.
But it had been around for a good while, and I wouldn't say that this is any more cerebral than Twilight Zone, and that was an insanely popular TV show.
Yeah, the Twilight Zone ended in '64, and yeah, you're right. I mean, there's Twilight Zone episodes that are almost exactly like this show. You know what I mean?
I don't know. It is a little slow, I guess, even compared to other shows of the time.
They probably just said that. They probably didn't like that it was this space adventure. I don't know. Who knows really, right? Who the fuck knows?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
they probably just told him that and then whatever. So they fucked up though, man. NBC fucked up.
Yeah. They definitely fucked up. So You really like this. You really love this episode.
I think this episode's great. I think it's great. If like me, like you kind of view it as like this is just like a different ship. I mean, it's clearly a different crew. What it made me realize though was that like the name of the ship Enterprise doesn't mean anything without like the crew of the Enterprise, right?
Yeah, it's all about like who's in the ship more than the name of the ship.
Because like this ship is the Enterprise, but it's not the Enterprise.
It's just
like,
a standard ship.
It could just be anything, yeah. So but I like that. Like I like the idea that like this was just like a different ship, and it was a different crew and just like a one-off mission that you got to see from some time else. You know, like I don't know. I thought it was neat, and I like the episode. I like the effects. I love that cheesy fucking 60s shit. I fucking love it.
I actually really do too. I love when they're shooting the door to try to open it with like 9 million lasers.
With that giant jug laser. It's like
giant
huge
ball lasers.
Yeah, testicle laser that they shoot at it.
And the special effects of just like they took cells of film and just like painted on them.
Yeah, they painted on them, yeah.
Which is, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, there's like a comfort for me like with this type of stuff. Like when I was little, I used to love watching Doctor Who and like this Star Trek. I was little, so I don't remember most of it, but I used to love watching King Kong and like
it just old sci-fi stuff is like my bread and butter.
It like makes me feel good. Like it comforts my brain.
Yeah, it's like a big comfy blanket.
Yeah. So I love this episode.
You hit the nail on the head when you said it was like a Twilight Zone episode. Because it really is. Yeah. And the thing that really gets me about that connection is the director of that episode, whose name I've already forgotten. Robert Butler also directed episodes of the Twilight Zone.
Of course he did.
And Gene Roddenberry did not. He didn't write any, as far as I know.
No, he never did. Not Twilight Zone.
But he did write this episode.
He did.
There's a moment,
which is good.
There's a moment in this episode I wanted to point out specifically where Captain Pike comes out of a room and he's walking down a hallway and a couple walks past him wearing 1960s clothes.
They were wearing like beach clothes, like they're gonna go to a surf party on the fucking beach.
Like the guy's wearing khaki shorts and a polo shirt, and the woman's wearing a cheerleading skirt.
It's like what?
Why are you on a ship?
What are you doing out here?
Are you going to play space tennis? What is happening?
I thought they were just getting ready to go to Ryza, maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. Proto-Ryza.
Proto-Ryza.
And the only problem I have with this episode, I love it a lot as well, because of that Twilight Zoniness, because of that classic sci-fi cheesiness.
Yeah.
And the fact that there's like a really introspective style plot to it.
Yeah.
I love all of that. The confused moral at the end of the episode is probably my only big fault with the episode.
Yeah, it needed to land, and it didn't. No. Which is probably why they didn't get the show made.
And interestingly enough, as a nice segue into the next part of the episode...
Yeah.
After the cage was turned down... Desilu Productions were the ones that were interested in picking up the show. Specifically, Lucille Ball was very interested in it. And she went to bat for Gene Roddenberry with the executives and got him a second pilot. So if it wasn't for Lucy, there would be no Star Trek.
Well, fucking redheads, man.
Yeah, saviors of the planet.
Great ones.
And when given their second chance, they created Where No Man Has Gone Before.
Greatest name for an episode ever.
Hell yes. And it introduces loveliest man in the universe, Captain James T. Kirk. Every time I see him, I hear that play. But it was directed by James Goldstone, who directed plenty of episodes of The Outer Limits. And also directed the pilot for Calamity Jane.
I think we all remember that.
Of course.
We're gonna watch that on next week's Calamity Jane Pilots.
J-Class podcast. It was written by Samuel A. Peoples.
Yeah,
who has a fun name.
Peoples, not like people, but like
Peoples. Who wrote The Rifleman and 7 million other westerns.
That's the time period.
Yeah,
right?
the reason why I pointed this out is both the director and the writer were western creators.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're going to be saying about these fucks who are doing all these fucking Marvel movies. They're going to be like, oh, they're doing Marvel movies. Yeah. They're the new westerns.
Marvel movies are the new westerns. Or superhero movies in general
are the new westerns. Yeah.
It was produced in 1965 after The Cage was rejected by NBC, and Lucille Ball went to bat.
She was like, get him the show, boys! I don't know how she talked. She didn't talk like that.
That's how she sounded. That's her exact
It's me, Lucille Ball! Sounds like a weird Jewish guy. It's me.
It's me, Morty. They still fucked up the uniform colors, though. They hadn't got it right. They were still using
the shitty ones.
Yeah, they're wearing blue this time as well, but it's like the colors are
no red yet.
Like really drab ass olive.
Yeah, it's really yellowy olive.
Blue and like pink, magenta. Like what is the other one? The one that fucking what's his face wears? I'm not helping anybody. I'm sorry.
You're not
Gary
helping
Mitchell.
me.
The one that Gary Mitchell wears.
Gary Mitchell?
Yeah, he's the guy who gets the Esper powers.
Oh, is he David Banner?
Yeah. I don't think it might actually be him. I don't know, actually.
Let's look. I'm looking it up. No, it's not.
It's not. Oh.
No, there's no way.
That's not the rapper David Banner. But there's a lot of familiar elements in place that will become part of the Star Trek canon forever, like Kirk is the captain, Scotty is the engineer, Spock is first officer.
Yeah,
but there's just some
Sulu sighting.
Sulu is in the background for a good portion of the episode.
Lines. He's a scientist, I guess, in this episode.
Astrophysicist, actually.
There you go. Oh my!
There's some sort of a tubby doctor who is not Bones.
Yeah,
I don't think we learn his name.
It says Dr. Piper right here.
Dr. Piper. Okay.
He's also in a million westerns.
Not shocking. But Spock is still very emotional in this episode.
He's a little better.
But we get a lot of the classic accoutrement with this episode. Like, we get the opening with voice over it.
Yeah.
We get the correct theme song and opening.
You get the correct font.
There is the correct font. I was going to point that out. I'm glad I'm not the only one that ever talks about fonts on this shit.
Well, I fucking saw the Cage font, and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Get this shit out of my face.
I was like, it's blue, and it's not the Star Trek font,
this
so
is
I don't know what
the
show
right
I'm
font. Get the fuck out of here.
Get this shit out of my face, buttholes.
But it starts out with Kirk and Spock playing three-dimensional chess.
Which is another Star Trek thing that comes back forever.
And Spock's being a real shit.
Yeah.
And Kirk's like,
loser.
Kirk's like, well, actually, I won. And Spock's like, you fucking bitch. But then they get a
human bitch.
Yeah. You fucking red-blooded bitch.
Oh, shit.
But some dude comes over the comm and he's like, hey, Captain, there's something out in space. And Captain's like, yeah?
No shit. There's a lot here,
stuff.
Guy.
And he's like, no, it's like right out in tractor beam range. And he's like, all right, lock onto it and beam it in. And we meet Scotty. Scotty's in the transporter room.
Yeah, Scotty's here.
And he doesn't really... His accent comes in and out in this episode.
He doesn't stick with it. He's not sticking with the Scottish accent.
But one thing I'm glad that doesn't get carried over from the pilot episodes is how fucking long it takes a transporter to transport something.
Oh my god, dude! It's like, are they okay in there? Like, do they need a, like, what's going on?
Can I take a sandwich break or something while this is going on?
You're supposed to be like, oh my god, how did they do it?
It's magic.
There's one part where they do like a really cool. No, that was in the cage. They do like a really cool like composition shot where the yeoman redhead stops and looks at the transporter, and then they freeze her, and then Majel Barrett beams in.
They do that twice in that episode, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty clever for like then. Like they were doing some shit.
Yeah, they're trying. They're trying. They're doing way better than everyone else is on TV at that time.
Absolutely.
But they beam on like a disaster recorder, I think they call it.
Yeah, I guess it's like a black box. I guess.
Yeah. And they're like, "Wow, that thing's fucked up. Let's see what's in it." But it starts like beeping and like flashing a light, and everybody's like, "Fuck, red alert!"
Yeah, fucking shit.
Fucking Riker says, "Shields up, red alert." Which is my favorite Riker quote.
Shields up, red alert.
I fucking every time he says that, I'm like, yeah. He's not in this show, everybody.
No,
he won't be born for another 100 years or whatever.
Yeah, he's real. He's not even a jizz cell yet.
Not yet.
A jizz cell. He's not even one of them jizz cells yet.
Shard it.
Jizz cell.
With like a little beard on a jizz cell.
Dude, that's fucking great. Oh my god, we got so many ideas.
It's just comes at him. He falls at him.
Just like a jizz cell.
Just like a jizz cell. But we meet our hero at this point, Gary Mitchell, Lieutenant Commander Gary Mitchell.
Yeah, great name.
Who is in charge of, I don't know, sitting in the chair, I guess.
I guess he's a pilot. I guess he's I don't know, ensign. He's not an ensign. He's lieutenant commander.
Yeah, he's a lieutenant commander. He might be the pilot. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he likes Spock very much.
Yeah, he kind of doesn't like him.
It's almost like we're supposed to like Gary Mitchell, right? He at this time period, he's like a man's man, right? Like you as an audience is supposed to be like, I like the cut of this guy's jib.
He's got a good haircut,
but
not like those hippies.
He's kind of like rapey.
Yeah,
which
he's
is
a little,
never good.
He's a little creeptastic in this.
He's a little bro-tastic, right?
Yeah.
But we're supposed to like him, but he says like creepy shit sometimes. Like he just looks back at Spock and he's like, "How did the chess match go?"
Yeah. I think that he's proto Bones, right?
I guess so, yeah.
Like they were trying to make the triangle. It was Captain, Spock, and other guy who makes fun of Spock.
Yeah, you gotta have that.
Yeah, and he's so he's like that role, but it doesn't. He's not as good as Bones, so.
No, he gets fucking written out in this episode, so that tells you everything you need to know about him.
Which is good.
But, there's, I also forgot to mention, in the cage, there's always a guy standing next to Pike with a clipboard. What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah. Like there's also that in this episode with I guess it's the yeoman. I don't know what a yeoman does on a ship.
It's like an assistant.
Yeah, I guess so.
But like the yeoman that like Gary Mitchell holds her hand when they think they're all gonna die, but then she never speaks to him again.
He just wanted to grab some hand, dude.
Also in the cage, there's a guy standing next to the turbo lift who looks like he just wants to fucking kill himself. Like, go back and watch it. I've never seen someone on TV look that fucking sad before.
He's probably just, like, some guy that they found.
He's just like, fucking, I'm getting paid, like, $2 an hour right now. This fucking sucks.
Roddenberry was like, head over to Lot 3 and find me an extra. We need more people on this ship.
Guy's, like, in his trailer, like, loading bullets into his gun, and they knock on the door, and he's like, fucking come back!
He's like, I used to be in a million westerns.
The westerns are drying up. What am I gonna do?
He's putting ammo. He's putting bullets in a western gun. It's not even a real gun.
He's putting his bullets in a fucking cap gun.
He just pulls the trigger and it just clicks, and he's like, "Oh God,
I can't do anything right.
My life's a failure."
Where was I? Oh, like the department heads report to the ship, like Tubby Doctor, other guy, Lady, and Sulu.
Lady, who is, I think, I didn't check this, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, I think she is the English teacher from the hit movie Back to School.
Sally Kellerman.
That's her. That's definitely her. That's her, yes. She's in Back to School. And she's in MASH.
She was in The Boston Strangler.
Okay. She's in Decker.
Okay.
She
was fucking Major Houlihan.
Yeah, she was Hot Lips.
In the movie.
Yeah, the movie.
Wow, I know
Crazy.
her.
Yeah.
I know her.
Yeah.
She's also in Star Trek.
She's also in this episode.
Yeah. She's Dr. Elizabeth Denner, who is really not very good at her job.
Yeah, she's kind of awful.
She's the ship's psychiatrist, and she just eggs on people's fucking psychosis real bad.
I think that's what psychiatrists did in 1965.
But, Mitchell calls her a walking freezer unit because she doesn't immediately jump on his dick when he says hi to her.
He's like, that's never happened to me before. I'm gonna try to hold her hand later.
I'm gonna get me some hand.
It's 1966. Let's hold some hands.
It's what the fucking Beatles were singing about, man.
I want to hold your hand. Yeah. I want to hold your jizz cell hand.
Whoa, that must have been like the British version or something.
That was that BBC version. Yeah.
Jesus, but they start talking about. Oh no, Spock is reading the messages that the other ship left behind in their black box, and they start talking about ESP and humans. Yeah. And they're like super horny to find out about ESP and humans.
Yeah, they're real into that. They're like, wait a minute, what?
And the captain's like, hey, Dr. Denner, is it Diener?
It looks like it's Dr. Denner. Denner, Dehner. Weird.
I remember it being Diener in the episode.
Maybe they say it that way. I don't know. Let's call her Liz.
Let's call her the Doctor.
The Doctor.
So it'll be like a crossover.
Yeah.
Captain Kirk, being a good captain, says, hey, Doctor, what's your opinion on that? And she's like, I'm really good at ESP. And he's like, no, why the fuck would I ask you that?
Yeah, what are you saying that to me for?
And she's like, ESP's not very powerful. And Spock's like, several crewmen fucking died on this ship. Yeah. And so they really wanted to know about ESP, so it seems like it's probably dangerous. And she's like, it's not dangerous, you fucking green-blooded hobgoblin.
Go fight Spider-Man, asshole!
And he's like, fucking, excuse me?
Yeah, she's like real mean, man.
Yeah, she is. But Kirk's like, you know what? We're gonna go and find out what happened to this ship. Suck my dick. Warp Factor 1. And my favorite shot in the whole episode happens where they like start moving at Warp Factor 1 and everyone looks like they're about to die before anything's even happened. Like the music's like dun 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 dun, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Why is everyone so tense?
He was like that in the cage though too, with like the warp. Like it was a big moment.
Yeah, I guess because it like at this time maybe they hadn't decided that it was safe to warp.
I guess I don't know.
But then again, they do that in the motion picture too. So
right, yeah.
Who knows?
Maybe he just gets sexually aroused when warp happens.
I know I do.
I know that's true.
But they encounter like a weird pink thing in space.
It's like the barrier of the galaxy or something.
Yeah, it's very similar.
It's very Star Trek V.
And Kirk's like, fly into that shit.
Yeah.
And it does appear, and they only have 12 seconds left before it hits or whatever. But,
yeah, they're gonna.
Or
hit
is that
it.
in the cage?
No, it's this one. That's this one. I think it's this one.
Maybe it's both. But
I don't know, man. These kind of blend together.
They can't move out of the way. So they go into the pink thing, and the ship just gets like throttled around. But then like blue sparks explode out of Mitchell and the Doctor.
Yeah, they turn into like skeletons, like when the Emperor is getting shocked. But
it's like when cartoon characters get electrocuted.
Yeah, it's like when like Darth Vader gets hit with the lightning in Return of the Jedi,
and he's a skeletal bones inside.
There's bones inside of him. Yeah.
Does he have leg bones when that happens?
No, you don't see his leg. You only see like his head.
Okay. I was gonna say if he got shocked and he had leg bones, that's just not canon.
No, I think he.
I saw the prequels.
He had the high ground, Anakin.
Don't even try it.
Don't try it.
But they're like, what happened? And they finally get out or whatever, but like Mitchell's on the floor and his eyes are fucking silver.
That dude's fucking awesome as shit. He's like from a Kiss album or something.
Yeah, the silver eyes are obviously like lenses he had to wear because his eyes are constantly watering.
Yeah, they're probably causing him to get eye cancer because I'm sure they spray painted them.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. Also, like, he probably couldn't see out of them.
Yeah, probably actually couldn't see.
But they're like repairing the ship or whatever, and they find out that all the crew members who died when they were in the Pepto-Bismol dimension died because they had high ESP tests, which is a thing that you have to take to be in Starfleet, I guess.
I guess so, sure. Why not?
Mitchell's was the highest in the crew.
That's very Starship Troopers.
It is. But then the doctor's like, it's not dangerous. It's not dangerous. And Spock's like, everybody on that ship died. And she's like, fucking so?
Could have been anything. Could have been the Pepto-Bismol.
You know what it could have been? It could have been a fucking Vulcan who killed him, huh?
Yeah,
How
maybe it
about
was
that?
you. Where were you, Spock?
And apparently, like, ESP is like a super real thing in the future.
Apparently. Well, it makes sense, like later with Betazoids, you know.
Yes.
And Vulcans are telepathic to a certain extent. So
Although
like,
they hadn't really just thought about that at this point.
Not yet, but that's like later. So I mean, the way they talk about it's real hokey, you know.
Yeah, people
like
could
ESP,
see through objects and like read the backs of cards and shit.
It's real magic. It's not so much like a Star Trek, even like pseudoscience-y explanation. It's like there's this magic thing that they can do.
It's like with Betazoids like that a little bit. There's never any real explanation for that.
They just can do it, right?
It's just they're aliens and they think differently than us and just fucking deal with it.
Brain works different.
But Mitchell is in sickbay and he's got silver eyes.
He's watching his TV. His book TV.
He's reading his book TV. And Kirk walks in and Mitchell this is your first hint that something's up with Mitchell. Kirk walks in and Mitchell doesn't even turn around and he says, Jim!
Yeah.
And Kirk's like, what the fuck?
What the shit? This fucking guy knew who I was. Is it my dick stink?
Fuck, I thought I put on my dick deodorant today.
Is my dick stank giving me away again? Shit.
And, like, Mitchell and him reminisce about the old days where we learn that they're not the same age at all. Like, apparently Mitchell went to Kirk's class that he taught.
Yeah, Kirk had a class,
Which I guess maybe he could have been like a
adjunct.
like an adjunct or a TA or something.
Yeah, it could have been a TA. He's a lieutenant. He has rank of lieutenant, so he's already graduated. So maybe he just was like, I gotta stick around here for a little bit and
maybe
teach a class on fucking green chicks.
And thank you, Pop Culture Kirk.
It's me, Pop Culture Kirk. Don't read books, they're dumb.
Don't read books, just fuck green things and cats.
Don't read a book, fuck a book.
But apparently Mitchell, I don't know, maybe like paid a girl to go out with Kirk or something.
Yeah, they tell this weird story.
And Kirk's like, you planned that? I almost married her. And Mitchell's like, yeah, I fucking paid her with money that we have in the future to do that.
Punked.
She was a hooker, apparently. And there's this scene that's like actually a little creepy, like in a Twilight Zone kind of way, since we were talking about that, where he's like, you better be good to me, Jim. And he's like, oh, well, you're going to have to stay in sickbay for a little while. Bye. And he turns around to leave. And he's like, didn't I say? And his voice fucking like echoes.
Yeah, it gets echoey.
Kirk like turns around like, what the fuck? And he says, that you'd better be good to me.
It's so creepy.
Ugh. Kirk's like, you're fucking creeper, dude.
Kirk's like, I better drop this guy off on a planet.
I better fucking murder this dude on a planet. And
foreshadowing.
there's also a creepy thing where he's like quickly going through the pages of a book, like siphoning through them over and over, faster and faster.
He's like reading them, yeah.
And Spock's like peeping on him.
They're like watching him.
They're peeping, and he's like, he's reading these pages like really, really fast. And Kirk's like, man, that's fucked. And Mitchell looks directly at the fucking camera and smiles. Yeah. I was like, you creepy bastard.
Like, how does he know, like... I mean, I'm assuming, like, the sensors in the ship can just, like, generate an image that way, right? Like,
yeah. But he knows exactly where it's pointing at.
I guess it was supposed to be, like, a camera. Like, I don't know.
Who knows?
Because they didn't have that concept, right?
It's like in movies where in a sequel somebody's like watching the previous events of a movie and it's just the movie playing.
It's Star Trek 4 they're watching Star Trek fucking 3. And you're like, wait a minute, this is Star Trek 3. How'd you guys get this movie already?
They got this movie from the archives.
They rented it from West Coast Video. And they're like, play the part where the ship blows up. We need that for this scene.
Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and put that in this movie. Really. But the doctor comes into sickbay and she's like, Mitchell, you don't really like me. And he's like, nah, you're alright. And she's like, well, you call me a walking freezer unit. And then he's like, fucking kiss me.
Yeah, he like grabs her all weird. It's like,
and he's like super rapey. Like, he was rapey before he got hit with the Pepto-Bismol, but he got super rapey afterwards.
Yeah, Pepto-Bismol will do that to you. Make you just turn into a fucking criminal.
And, like, he's like a weirdo sex pervert or whatever, but she's, like, really into him.
Yeah, that's like that 60s shit. It's like that TV, like, lie where it was like, strong men get women and women just, like, submit. It's like, what?
It's a lot of pomp and circumstance on the TV.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's just a fucking fake-ass, like, reality.
And then third guy shows up, blonde guy. I don't know who the fuck he is.
Lee Lemon. Lee something.
Lee Lemon.
It was Lee Kelso. That's him.
Kelso. Okay.
Lieutenant Lee Kelso. I'm totally not gonna die.
Yeah, Kelso comes in and he's like, hey buddy, what's up? And Mitchell's like, I'm a fucking monster, blah.
Yeah, he starts like doing all kinds of crazy shit.
And Kelso's like, alright. Anyway, I'm gonna leave. And Mitchell's like, hey, the engine's fucked up in this place. And Kelso's like, whatever, Mitchell, you jokester. And Mitchell's like, fuck you, you bitch.
Test the thing, it's burnt out, you fucker. And it's like, whoa.
Kelso's like, okay, have a good day, buddy.
Yeah.
And it turns out he's right. And Kelso's like, hey, Kirk, check this shit out.
How did he know? How did he know?
Kirk's like, all right, so now we know what's going on. So there's crazy shit happening. What does everybody think of this?
And Spock raises his hand and says, "We gotta murder him."
Not yet. He keeps it in. He's smart, right? But he's like, Doctor Diener Denner.
Diener Denner.
What do you think? And has he shown these type of abilities before? And she's like, well, yeah, he has. And Kirk's like, and you didn't think it was important to tell me this?
Right.
And she's like, well, fucking, you don't know. He could be like a better kind of human being. Yeah. Like the kind that Hitler wanted. And everybody's like real awkward because, fuck, she just mentioned Hitler. Did anybody hear that?
That's not okay. We gotta...
And there's like a really awkward silence, but then Sulu, who finally gets a line in the episode, is like, he's growing exponentially. It's like if you have you double a penny a day in a month, you'll be a millionaire. Which is absolutely like the TNG. It's like if you take a balloon
and put too much air in it. Yeah. Yep. And double a penny a day in a month, you'll be a millionaire.
Yeah, and Kirk's like, all right, everybody, get the fuck out. Let's go to the planet Delta Vega and refuel. And Spock stops and he's like, hey, we gotta strand him on that planet.
We gotta dump his ass down there.
And Kirk's like, no, he's my best friend forever. I've known him my whole life.
Yeah, he took my class and he made my almost wife marry me.
Almost wife. And Spock's like, all right, well, I mean, if you think it's too inhumane to leave him on the planet, we could always just fucking murder him. And Kirk's like, what?
Yeah, Kirk's like, shit, man, this is fucked up.
He's like, all right, let's leave him on the planet then, I guess.
Yeah, let's do that one. That one's less terrible.
And then we get a captain's log.
Yeah, nice, right? Cool.
We get a captain's log, first one ever.
Besides the one in the beginning.
Yeah, well, Mitchell gains telekinetic powers at this point, and like floats a cup over to himself.
And somehow there's a weird sink in the wall.
Yeah, there's like a tap in the wall.
Like who put this like spigot in the wall over here?
And the best thing about it is there's no signage around it. There's nothing on the wall to show what it is. It's just a spigot.
You're just supposed to know this is where the water comes out. There's no sink under it even to catch the water that doesn't make it into a cup.
It's like having one of those like coolers that has the spigot on it, but it's the wall.
You better have like a cup under there when you turn it on, or else you're gonna make a mess.
That's the future, man. We don't have sinks in the future.
That's the risk we all take living on the Enterprise.
Actually, up until TNG, are there sinks in the future?
There's sinks in, they have showers in Enterprise, so...
Yeah, but do they have sinks?
I think they have sinks. Yeah, they have sinks, because I think, TNG, there's a few
TNG
times.
they have sinks, I know that. But
yeah,
I'm
Riker uses
like,
a sink.
In TOS, do they have a sink?
Oh, no, probably not.
Probably not, because you'd have to, like, make a set piece for that.
They would need to be in a bathroom or something.
Which probably doesn't come up very often in the 60s. I mean, they weren't allowed to show a toilet on the Brady Bunch.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway. Mitchell has figured out that they're gonna strand him on a planet because he can read their minds. Somebody probably should have figured that out.
Fucking terrible, yeah. Like,
so they jump on him and stab him and tranquilize him, but he can still walk.
Yeah,
perfectly fine. And he wakes up and they stab him again in the transporter room, and he still can stand.
He stands in the transporter.
Which is hilarious.
Dude, I laughed out loud. I was like, how's he fucking standing in this transporter?
I was like, I guess in the future they have tranquilizers that, like, stiffen your knees up when you get in you or whatever.
It's like in the episode of Deep Space Nine when they make that Vorta walk with those stimulant things.
Dude, you love that scene.
It's so fucking funny.
It is. It's like a corpse, though. It's really kind of, like, fucking unsettling if you think about it, but it's funny otherwise.
I love that episode because it's Iggy Pop as the other Vorta.
Yeah. Iggy Pop, huge Star Trek fan, as it turns out.
That's awesome.
It is. I gain so much respect for any celebrity that's a fan of Star Trek.
I also do. That's like that basketball player who was the Klingon, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to be in Star Trek. And they're like, all right.
All right, you be a Klingon.
And he doesn't have any lines.
It reminds me of, like, Biz Markie. Fucking love Star Trek. And, like, the Beastie Boys and stuff.
Yeah.
I love it.
I didn't know Biz Markie did. I love Biz Markie.
I love Biz Markie too.
It's Biz's beat of the day.
He talks about, he like mentions Mr. Spock a bunch. In raps. But anyway, they take him, they like beam him at his ass down to the planet and put him in a force field that blocks psychic powers, I guess.
Sure.
They have that, whatever. And
especially on this planet where robots control everything.
Yeah. And he's like, Mitchell's like, hey Kirk, I'm gonna fucking get strong forever and get like the strongest man. And if you don't fucking murder me,
I'm a muscle man, but my brain's a muscle.
Yeah, if you don't fucking murder me, I'm gonna get real strong, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You're fucked.
And then he like runs into the force field.
Yeah.
And gets like jolted back, but then he turns back to normal.
Yeah, like I guess like whatever is in him goes like gets hurt or something. I don't know.
And it's like taking over him as well because like he's like Jim.
Yeah, Jim.
Then he gets turned back into Silver Eyes, and they're like, well, I guess we'll have to fucking leave him.
Yeah.
But then they think that's not enough, either, is the thing. Because, like, they're trying to repair the ship, and they don't think they have enough time before he gets super powerful strong.
It's like a kind of like a race against the clock, right?
Yeah, so Scotty beams a phaser rifle down to Spock, like the famous phaser rifle.
The Type 3 phaser rifle. That's what it is.
Which doesn't have an actual trigger anywhere on it.
Yeah,
which is the funnest part.
I'm looking at pictures of it. There's like all kinds of weird buttons, though.
Yeah, there's no trigger, and there's no like handle to like hold where a trigger would go. There's just one up near the front. Like a
there's
Tommy
like
gun handle.
Right, like a whatever you call that handle. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
And nobody knows
guns.
how to hold it right.
I know where I'm from, everybody, but I don't know guns.
Yeah, there's probably a name for that handle. I don't know it either.
I don't know, but Spock is like, look, I'm gonna murder the fuck out of him because it needs to be done, and Kirk's like, God damn it, Spock!
Yeah.
But Spock is right, and Mitchell gets out of his shit.
Well, first he strangles Lee with a fucking cord.
R.I.P.
Doesn't he just psychically strangle him to death? And I was like, there he goes, bye, Lee.
You knew it was gonna happen.
We're wearing a red shirt because there aren't any yet, but you might as well have
You would have been. If there were red shirts, you would have been wearing
You would have been wearing it.
He kills him with a cable, and Kirk's like, Dr. Diener Denner, get back to the fucking ship.
Yeah, go.
And she's like, no, I love him.
I'm going with him. Yeah, and it's like, oh my God.
Him. And fucking... She doesn't stop him from shocking the shit out of Kirk and Spock, and like, she just goes with him.
Yeah, he has like psychic shock powers or something.
And she has like silver eyes now at this point as well, because she had a high Esper rating.
Yeah, she's also a god now. A Q.
She's a Q. Is he transforming into a Q?
I thought maybe that was where they got the idea for Q from. There's a lot of like...
Well, there's a dude in TOS later who's basically Q.
Yeah.
And the
He's
idea
a little green alien named Gazoo.
Well, the idea is that, like, later on they were going to reveal that guy was a Q, but they never got around to it.
Oh, really?
And it's only in, like, novels now.
That's cool.
But,
I like that.
Dr. Piper is like, Kirk, Kelso's dead. Mitchell and Dr. Diener Denner have gone. And
he gives them, like, exactly where they went.
Yeah, they went.
He's like, go left here on 4th Street, then you're going to see a stop sign. Okay, keep going if you see the red stop sign, but when you get to the green stop sign, turn another left.
Look, if you see the barn, you've gone too far.
You've gone too far.
And Kirk's like, look, let's kill him.
He's like, let's do this. So he cocks the phaser, and it's like, what?
But, like, at this point, Mitchell is, like, making shit out of thin air.
He's, like, making trees and
He's
fucking
like, making
plants,
food and water and shit.
apples, yeah.
Kirk's like, Jesus Christ. And Mitchell's like, look, humans ain't shit but bitches and tricks. I got nothing to do with them anymore.
Yeah, that's right.
And the doctor's like, oh, that's not right. Is it?
I don't know.
But she goes to meet Kirk, and she's like, look, Kirk, you need to get out of here.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're going to get Mitchell.
This dude's gonna mitch you up.
Long story short, Kirk comes to kill Mitchell and fires at him with his big phaser rifle, but Mitchell just slaps it out of his hand.
Yeah, with his psychic powers.
And then Mitchell makes a grave for Kirk that has the wrong initials on it.
Tombstone.
It has the wrong initials on it. It says, like, James R. Kirk or something.
Oh, yeah, it's...
Because they had decided
James
on a
Riberius.
Riberius. And he's like, look, get down on your hands and knees and pray to me as your god.
Yeah, it's very biblical. This whole scene is like the Garden of Eden and blah, blah, blah.
Kirk's like, what does God need with a tombstone?
He does say that.
He does say that. But then Kirk throws a rock at him.
Yeah. He shoots the gun at the rocks and he falls. Well, they fight for like 45 minutes. It's like the longest, most terribly choreographed action scene of all time.
It's pretty bad.
It's not great. And then he falls in the hole, and then he shoots rocks at him, and then
rocks
first of all,
kill him, even though he's not a god.
yeah,
Even
big
though
rocks
he's a god,
hurt him.
yeah.
Diener Dinner helps Kirk, right? She stuns him and shit. I don't know. This ending is even worse than the first pilot.
She just she dies. I don't know why. She's just I think he shoots her or something. I don't know.
She's not strong enough yet, is what I thought.
Yeah, she dies. And then back on the Enterprise, Kirk and Spock have their little repertoire. They talk to one another. And Kirk's maybe there's hope for you after all, Spock. And Spock's fuck you. And then it ends. I feel like I did a good job describing the episodes this time. I'm going to give myself a gold star.
You get that gold shirt. You get the gold tunic.
Oh shit, I'm the captain now. I have to say, between the two of them, I like them both as episodes, but I think The Cage is a more enjoyable watch.
Yeah, I think The Cage is better.
I understand why they went with this one. Kirk has is a character who's much more engaging.
He's so good in these.
Yeah.
He's amazing. He's amazing in these.
He's the only.
There's a difference.
He's the only captain that I've ever seen who can just be a dick to one of his own crew members.
Yeah.
Be the boss type dick that you have to be to get shit done, but
right.
still be really charming and likable at the same time.
Yeah.
There are episodes of TNG where Picard has to be a dick to do the boss thing and get shit done, but we're seeing it from someone else's point of view, so he just comes off as a dick.
Right.
But Kirk can still be charming and likable during that.
Yeah, he can smile and make you laugh with him.
Yeah.
While he's being a dick to you. It's incredible. It's great. And that's all William Shatner. William Shatner is he's got
actor. A lot of charm to him.
Yeah.
And that's something that was missing very heavily with Pike.
Yeah.
I couldn't have watched a whole show with Pike, I don't think.
Oh my god, I would have killed myself because he's so sad.
Yeah, his entire story is just depressing as fuck.
Yeah.
And I mean, he maybe would have grown from this experience in the pilot episode or whatever, but he still would have mostly been that character forever. That's how TV works in serialization.
I hope he gets put in some sort of beep chair soon.
You know what I was thinking? During the ending of the episode or whatever of The Cage, I was in 10 years you're just gonna be right back here, dude. You're just wasting time at this point.
Well, in real life that dude dies way young.
Yeah. R.I.P.
Something was wrong with that dude.
His eyes were too pretty for this world.
They were.
It's in 10 years time you're gonna be in a horrible fucking accident and be in a wheelchair. And then you're gonna go back to the planet. I don't even think in the Menagerie Part 2 that they mention the hologram Pike that Vina is with. She's just by herself.
Yeah.
So it's not weird that a real Pike replaces hologram Pike. Could you imagine if real Pike replaces hologram Pike and they're just not compatible at all, and she's just can I get the hologram back?
Yeah. I want this hologram. It had a bigger dick.
Oh no. His dick probably doesn't work anyway, really.
No, not in the
beep chair.
No. Wait, maybe it beeps. 1 for boner, 2 for not boner.
So it's just 2 beeping all the time.
Beep beep.
Beep beep. Beep beep. Beep beep.
1 long boner.
Long beep is boner.
Long beep is boner.
That's Morse code.
That's how it started.
Could you imagine doing a Morse code message to sext somebody?
Oh god. Fully erect. Stop. Waiting for your wet puss. Stop.
It's fucking 87 minutes later, the message finally ends.
This is a highly inefficient way to have sex with somebody over long distances.
Jesus, my boner was gone like 40 minutes ago. I don't have time for this shit.
Plus, I gotta go fight in the Civil War, so peace.
I gotta go fight in the war. I don't know which one anymore. One of them. Well. The overall, like I said, I like the Cage a little bit better. But I feel like Where No Man Has Gone Before really sets a lot of ground.
Yeah, Where No Man Has Gone Before is better in that it's Star Trek, right? But as like just a pure episode, I think The Cage is a better episode.
It's fascinating to me the differences between these two episodes that got completely different responses from the executives. Yeah. I'd like to have a little peek inside their heads and find out why.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with TV, though. Like, who really knows? And, like, I know, like, I say that a lot. And in my limited experience, nobody fucking knows what they're doing. TV executives don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I mean, it could have been something as simple as, like, I don't know, there were men deferring to a woman in the Cage.
Right. Dude, I mean, they get hung up on such weird shit like that. There's, like, millions of stories of people coming back with notes that are like, why is the wall green? It's like, what are you looking at the wall for? Like, what are you talking about? You know?
Our studies show that audiences do not like green walls. We have a 33% drop in viewership when they're green walls.
It's shit like that, and like it's a gamble, man. So like, I'm glad that the show got made because like it could have not.
I couldn't imagine my life without Star Trek in it.
I couldn't either. My life would be so much worse. We wouldn't be friends, which would be horrible.
Yeah, that would be the darkest timeline.
I would just fucking kill myself if I wasn't your friend.
How would you know?
I would just kill myself. I would know. I'd be like,
fuck, something is missing from my life in a big way.
It would be like an episode of Star Trek where Deanna Troi is like, something's wrong.
If the problem isn't with me, it has to be with the universe.
Psychopath. I'm perfect, so this is fucked up.
It's a normal thing to think, I think.
Oh my god. So good.
It's, I felt like we'd be talking about these a little bit longer than we ended up talking about them.
Yeah, these are pretty quick. Well, these episodes for sure. These are like theater for TV, right? So there's not a whole lot of stuff going on for these.
Yeah, I mean, with the other ones, you could talk about, like, the behind-the-scenes stories and stuff. And like,
the way that they're shot and like, not so much.
This is very plain when it comes to the way it's shot. There are some, like, interesting shots in Where No Man Has Gone Before. Like, there's a shot overhead of Kirk going out of a door and into another one that I thought was kind of neat.
That's very Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. Stole it from this.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, Quentin.
We know you stole it.
We know you steal everything.
We know you steal that shot.
So here's the question. Yeah. Do we end this episode as an hour-long episode or an hour and a half, or do we go ahead and do mail?
We could do mail.
We have a lot of mail, so we will still do M-Class emails this week.
Okay, we'll still do it. Okay, that's fine.
So, this is probably our shortest episode so far.
It's like 2 hours, 2 hour and a half.
Okay, it's not short.
No, it's like an hour and a half. I don't know.
You know what? Nothing matters, because we're all gonna die anyway.
Fuck it.
You know what? I would like to take a minute to thank you guys for tuning into M-Class Podcast.
Me too.
Because we love each and every one of you. We love each of you personally and sexually.
Yeah, it's the 23rd century. It's free love, baby.
It's free love all day, every day.
I'm giving out jizz cells. For free.
That's a new one. It's gonna last forever. Jizz cells.
How many? I got a low jizz cell count.
Jizz the Cage. Get it? Cells? Cage? Get it?
That was good. That was good.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I'm the funniest man. That's why they gave me my own podcast.
They gave it to you. That's why Lucille Ball gave you a podcast.
That's right. That's the only reason we have this show.
Thanks, Lucille Ball.
Thank you, Lucy. I can call her Lucy. We're on the first.
Oh, you guys
basis.
are friends, yeah.
She gave me the show after all, so.
Damn.
You know, if
I
you
love
would,
Lucy.
You did it. If you would like to have an email read out on the other show that we're not going to do right now, but we're going to do after this, you could send your emails in to mclassemails@gmail.com, or you can follow us on Twitter at mclasspodcast.
Fucking do it!
It's a good time. We'll use it more often because I've kind of fell off on that, but I'm going to be back on my old bullshit soon.
Oh, yeah, I've been real bad about it, too.
So, shit came up. But I'll be back on it soon, so follow. And,
follow.
Here's a tidbit of information for you. Next episode, we're gonna be doing Encounter at Farpoint, Part 1 and 2.
Fuck yes!
And if you have ever listened to other podcasts with Josh on them, you've probably heard people talk at length about this already.
I don't remember. That was so long ago.
It was a long time ago, but this is with fresh eyes. We're gonna rewatch it. We want you guys to watch it too.
Yes.
And meet us back here in however long it takes us to make another one.
I don't know. Space time. It takes a while.
I don't understand star dates, so it'll come out whenever.
They're nonsense.
They really are, especially in TOS.
Yeah.
But tune in next time, and live long and send money.